video, we are going to be doing anime type set lashes or anime inspired eyelashes, which is really, really cool. Something really, really different, but definitely is pretty easy to achieve. So what I'm going to be doing is using 2 different curls because we want these spikes to really stand out. And then we want the lashes in between to kind of fall short. So I'm going to be using D curl and C curl. Now I know what you mean, like, oh, those are 2 different curls. Well, the reason being is because, again, you want the spikes to stand out. They need to be at its most peak. It needs to be the number one thing that you see. So, excuse me, incorporating 2 different lengths is really going to help create that textured look that we're going for. So again, we are using Veyes cashmere line, and we're using D curl and C curl. We want to keep it relatively on the shorter side because she doesn't have a lot of eyelid space. So my spikes, I think the longest length we're going to go up to is about a 15, which in a C curl would be like 13, 14. So we want to keep it at that length so it's not touching her eyelids. It's perfect length for her and for her eye shape. Now, if you had somebody who had way bigger lid space, then you would obviously do like maybe 16 or 17, even up to 18. But for this particular client, we are only going to be using 15 millimeter for our D curl spikes. So the way I'm going to map this out is I kind of want the spikes to be pretty cohesive. Usually when I do strip lash effects, I kind of know exactly where I'm placing them. I'm not really super strategic with it, but for this particular set, we need to. So I'm gonna follow the brow bone on each of her eyes to kind of create this balance. So it's gonna go right here in the center, and then for here, okay? So here is our center point. And now we can map out perfectly where we want those other spikes to go. So another one would go here, and then halfway point of that spike. And then let's adjust this tape a little bit. There we go. And then I would put the last one right about here. Same thing. Spike would probably go here. And then halfway of that. And then same thing, one towards the outer corner, okay? Now, instead of when we do a strip lash effect, we usually do about 2, maybe 3 spikes. Well, we really want these spikes to be super enhanced. So we're probably gonna do about at least 5 to 6 in that section doing the top layer, the bottom layer, and the middle layer, because we really want to create not such a perfect spike. We kind of want it to look like it has levels to it, like if it was an actual strip lash that she was wearing. So that's how we're creating it. I know this sounds really confusing right now, but I'm going to show you guys exactly what I mean by that right now. I'm going to go ahead and demonstrate that for you. So I'm going to go ahead and prepare my glue. We are going in and we are using Veyes Power Bond. I don't know if you guys can see. Yeah, Veyes Power Bond. This is their 3-second drying glue. This is one of my favorite glues at the moment. And we're just gonna shake that up on our vortex and apply a glue bead into our little flower cup ring. That's usually what I always do. Let me have you put your hair on this side, please. Oh, careful, careful, careful. Okay. Don't forget to clean your glue nozzles. Okay. So now we can go ahead and start creating our spikes. Like I said, we are going to be putting at least 6 to 7 spikes right next to each other. And again, we're not 10, 11, 12, 13. Okay, and then we're gonna use 15 as our longest length. So creating a spike, I do have a video on this on my channel. So I'll refer to you guys on that one, but all we're gonna do is go in that section and place our spikes down. Sometimes I like to kind of do this little pinching to make sure it stays that way. Again, we're taking a 15, placing it in our section that we want it to. Doesn't matter if it's the top, bottom, or middle layer, as long as it's in the section that we created. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and place our first set of spikes on these lashes, and then I'll jump right back on when we start placing more. Okay, so we got our first layer of spikes down, or our first set of spikes. We are now gonna go ahead and apply another layer right next to it, or another spike right next to it. So again, using those 15s. And the reason why you want to do all layers is because you're creating kind of texture with the same length. Putting the same length at the bottom layer is obviously going to make the lashes shorter. So if you put a 15 on the top layer, it's always going to be at its longest, opposed to putting it at the bottom layer. It's going to kind of shorten it down. So it's going to create that texture in between our spikes. And that's what we want. We want to create texture with these because we want them to really stick out. I mean, as you guys probably saw from the title of this video, the picture, you can definitely see how the spikes are extremely poking out. And that's what gives it like that anime look, because usually anime lashes have like these bizarre, extreme, like long pieces of lashes. And then that's pretty much it. Like it looks like there's really nothing else but that. And that's what we're trying to mimic. How big you want your spikes is going to determine on your client's lashes. You don't want a too thick spike on a weaker lash, so just keep that in mind. In the Jewish community, I won't tell on the bros for the immunity. Can't beat them, that shit ain't gon' ruin me. I'm the only one now let outdo me. I got hoes by the crew trying to do me. My life like a movie, get hit in the wall. Alrighty guys, I'm hopping back on now on a voiceover because there was just too much noise when I was trying to talk in the video. So basically what I'm doing is, like I said in the beginning, we are placing as many spikes right next to each other as possible. And I did at least 5 spikes in one section. So exactly where you see my markings with my permanent marker is exactly where I put 5 spikes. Again, this is an anime set. It needs to be very textured, very crazy. The spikes need to completely stand out. So I really want them to. So that's why I did 5 spikes. So normally when I do like my strip lash effects, I'll probably do maybe 2, like the most 3, but it's probably like very thin spikes next to each other. This time we're doing 5, and we're doing pretty decently thick spikes next to each other. Again, these spikes have to stick out. Again, we're going in with these with the D curl, and then we're gonna just make some narrow fans with a CC curl. And I mapped out as well of what curls and lengths that I'm going to be, or what lengths actually, I'm sorry, that I'm going to be using so that you guys can see. I did speed up the process of this a little bit so you guys can kind of just really get the range of motion. But yeah, so I'm gonna let you guys go ahead and listen to the really cool background music I was able to find, and we will hop back on when I am ready to do so. I'll put like a little speaker icon or put sound on when I notify you guys when to jump back on. So yeah, enjoy the background music and we'll see you guys in a bit. I'm going bougie, I'm switching my profile. All of my cars get delivered with no miles. They think they do and we don't, I don't know how. I do the low, got the plug, I need more pounds. I put on trip every day from the floor up. I'm getting sick of this shit, post some more. Yeah. Go to lunch in the Jewish community. I won't tell on the bros for the immunity. Can't beat them, that shit ain't gon' ruin me. I'm the only one now let outdo me. I got hoes by the crew trying to do me. My life like a movie, get hit in the water. Don't got put in no work, I in order. This shit ain't got serious, the meetings come plural. I'm leaving by morals, we swiping
been keeping no word. Explorer, I'm young and I'm turned. I got bitches galore. My baby mom will cost 250. I'm splurging. Got 5 million cash just in case it get merging. My young niggas kill, get away, they be virgin. It happen like this, I ain't do it on purpose. I'm working my move, nigga. Who's on you working? I turned on my crew, bought a coupe off of verses. I'm tired of these strippers. I'm going that nurses and doctors and dentists. You started, I finished. I told you be with it. My word is like gold in my city. I tell them to go, they gon' get it. I heard that you froze when they hit it. Putting these hoes in the business, you know that you trippin'. I tell them no, they gon' listen. Knowing these niggas be sweet and some bitches, I'm different. She tryna leave me, I'm low down. I hang with savages, don't bring your whole round. I'm going bougie, I'm switching my profile. All of my cars get delivered with no mouth. They think they do and we don't, I don't know how. Run through the low, call the plug, I need more pounds. I put on trip every day from the floor up. I'm getting sick of this shit, post some more. Yeah, cullin' and shouting, my driving ain't solid. I keep them on point, make sure nobody follow us. I got a Glock with a shot that can stop a truck. I get the money, ain't ways like an octopus. Nowhere in hell, I'ma give all these choppers up. Team full of players, ain't nobody stopping us. We gotta run, give a fuck, then we poppin' them. Been raising hell back in school, I was poppin' them. Yeah, all of my hoes get fake, she fake. Making my bitch too much, she lazy. I was thinking price too high and I raised it. Shit in my bank account getting outraged. Niggas spend a lot, they had to switch up my phrase. And I'm sending out shots to the files get flamed. Switch up my route to the house, had to change. Still with this shit, I forget that I'm straight. Tryna leave me, I'm low down. I ain't with savages, don't bring your whole round. I'm going bougie, I'm switching my profile. All of my cars get delivered with no mouth. They think they do and we don't, I don't know how. I do the low, call the plug, I need more pounds. I put on trip every day from the floor up. I'm getting sick of this shit, post some more up. Yeah, you tryna leave me, I'm low down. I hang with savages, don't bring your whole round. I'm going bougie, I'm switching my profile. All of my cars get delivered with no mouth. They think they do and we don't, I don't know how. I do the low, call the plug, I need more pounds. I put on trip every day from the floor up. I'm getting sick of this shit, post some more up. Yeah. I'm getting sick of this shit, post some more up. I put on trip every day from the floor up. I'm getting sick of this shit, post some more up. I put on trip every day from the floor up. I'm getting sick of this shit, post some more up. Go to lunch in the Jewish community. I won't tell on the bros with immunity. Paying beat them, that shit ain't gon' ruin me. I'm the only one out let out do me. I got hoes by the crew tryna do me. My life like a movie, get hit in the water. Don't got put in no work, guys in order. This shit ain't got serious, the meetings come plural. I'm living by morals, we swiping and keeping no word. Explorer, I'm young and I'm turned. I got bitches galore. My baby mom will cost 250. I'm splurging. Got 5 million cash just in case it get merging. My young niggas kill, get away, they be virgin. It happen like this, I ain't do it on purpose. I'm working my move, nigga. Who's on you working? I turned on my crew, bought a coupe off of verses. I'm tired of these strippers. I'm going that nurses and doctors and dentists. You started, I finished. I told you be with it. My word is like gold in my city. I tell them to go, they gon' get it. I heard that you froze when they hit it. Putting these hoes in the business, you know that you trippin'. I tell them no, they gon' listen. Knowing these niggas be sweet and some bitches, I'm different. She tryna leave me, I'm low down. I hang with savages, don't bring your whole round. I'm going bougie, I'm switching my profile. All of my cars get delivered with no mouth. They think they do and we don't, I don't know how. Run through the low, call the plug, I need more pounds. I put on trip every day from the floor up. I'm getting sick of this shit, post some more up. Yeah, cullin' and shouting, my driving ain't solid. I keep them on point, make sure nobody follow us. I got a Glock with a shot that can stop a truck. I get the money, ain't ways like an octopus. Nowhere in hell, I'ma give all these choppers up. Team full of players, ain't nobody stopping us. We gotta run, give a fuck, then we poppin' them. Been raising hell back in school, I was poppin' them. Yeah, all of my hoes get fake, she fake. Making my bitch too much, she lazy. I was thinking price too high and I raised it. Shit in my bank account getting outraged. Niggas spend a lot, they had to switch up my phrase. And I'm sending out shots to the files get flamed. Switch up my route to the house, had to change. Still with this shit, I forget that I'm straight. Tryna leave me, I'm low down. I ain't with savages, don't bring your whole round. I'm going bougie, I'm switching my profile. All of my cars get delivered with no mouth. They think they do and we don't, I don't know how. I do the low, call the plug, I need more pounds. I put on trip every day from the floor up. I'm getting sick of this shit, post some more up. Yeah, you tryna leave me, I'm low down. I hang with savages, don't bring your whole round. I'm going bougie, I'm switching my profile. All of my cars get delivered with no mouth. They think they do and we don't, I don't know how. I do the low, call the plug, I need more pounds. I put on trip every day from the floor up. I'm getting sick of this shit, post some more up. Yeah. I'm getting sick of this shit, post some more up. I put on trip every day from the floor up. I'm getting sick of this shit, post some more up. I put on trip every day from the floor up. I'm getting sick of this shit, post some more up.
Alrighty guys, I already completed her left eye off camera. We are now moving on to the right eye, and I also mapped out the lengths that I'm going to be using. Also, as a point of note, I did use some 12s in the inner corner decurl spikes just because I felt like the inner corners needed it. I felt like something was missing when I saw the right eye was done, so I ended up putting the 12s in the inner corner. It just really gave it this choppy look. You'll see when I go ahead and show you guys the open version of it or the video of the finished detailing. But yeah, so now we're going to go in and just exactly where we have our lengths, we're placing our 13 fans in the 13 section, 12s in the 12s, the 10s and the 10s, you get it. So we did 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13. So this is basically going to give us like this really soft cat eye effect. I really wanted it to stand out this way. I felt like for her eye shape, this cat eye really went really nicely. It's not too exaggerated of a cat eye, but just enough to kind of elongate her outer corners because she does relatively have smaller eyes. And whenever you want to make eyes look bigger, you accentuate them with mapping. So that's what I did for this set. As far as our fans go, I want to say we did no more than about a 7 to 10D fan, 0.05 CC curl premium eyelashes from Veyes. She has pretty decently healthy lashes, so I was comfortable putting this weight on there because it wasn't actually any weight at all. Her lashes can definitely handle it, but we did want them to be a little bit more on the thinner side because we really, again, want those spikes to completely stand out. So I made the fans really thin and narrow to, one, give us that dark lash line, and two, to give us like this steady look also throughout the set. So again, those spikes really stand out. And yeah guys, really easy set. It's all about just placing your spikes where they need to go, amount of spikes that you want for that particular set, and then going with shorter lengths underneath so that way those spikes essentially stand out. So I really hope that makes sense, and I also really hope that you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope you guys learned a thing or two. I'm gonna go ahead and hop off and then show you guys the finished product when we're done. I only sped up this video just a little bit so you could really see me lashing, the process of it. I really wanted you guys to get a really good behind the feel of me lashing and just see kind of like the speed. Not obviously, like I said, I put it up to 2.5 speed, which is really not that fast, but just enough, you know, keep the video a little long, but at the same time, you know, shorten it up a bit so that you guys weren't just sitting here for so long. So yeah, that is it. Again, I really hope that you guys enjoyed, and we're just gonna go ahead and finish this set, and I'll hop back on when I am done.
Go to lunch in the Jewish community. I won't tell on the bros with immunity. Can't beat them, that shit ain't gon' ruin me. I'm the only one now let outdo me. I got hoes by the crew tryna do me. My life like a movie, get hit in the water. Don't got put in no work, guys in order. This shit ain't got serious, the meetings come plural. I'm living by morals, we swiping and keeping no word. This floor, I'm young and I'm turned, I got bitches galore. My baby mom will cost 250, I'm splurging. Got 5 million cash just in case if you merging. My young niggas still get away, they be splurging. It happen like this, I ain't do it on purpose. I'm working my move, nigga, who's on you working? I turned on my crew, bought a coupe off of verses. I'm tired of these scribbles, I'm going at nurses and doctors and dentists. You started, I finished, I told you we with it. My word is like gold in my city. I tell them to go, they gon' get it. I heard that you froze when they hit it. Putting these hoes in the business, you know that you tripping. I tell them no, they gon' listen. Knowing these niggas be sweet and some bitches, I'm different. She tryna leave me, I'm low down. I hang with savages, don't bring your whole round. I'm going bougie, I'm switching my profile. All of my cars get delivered with no mouth. They think they do and we don't, I don't know how. Run through the low, call the plug, I need more pounds. I put on trip every day from the floor up. I'm getting sick of this shit, post some more up. Yeah, cullin' and shouting, my driving ain't solid. I keep them on point, make sure nobody follow us. I got a Glock with a shot that can stop a truck. I get the money, ain't ways like an octopus. Nowhere in hell, I'ma give all these choppers up. Team full of players, ain't nobody stopping us. We gotta run, give a fuck, then we poppin' them. Been raising hell back in school, I was poppin' them. Yeah. All of my hoes get fake, she fake. Making my bitch too much, she lazy. I was thinking prices too high and I raised. Shit in my bank account getting outraged. Niggas spend a lot, they had to switch up my phrase. And I'm sending out shots, the files get flamed. Switch up my route to the house, had to change. Still with this shit, I forget that I'm straight. Tryna leave me, I'm low down. I ain't with savages, don't bring your whole round. I'm going bougie, I'm switching my profile. All of my cars get delivered with no mouth. They think they do and we don't, I don't know how. I do the low, call the plug, I need more pounds. I put on trip every day from the floor up. I'm getting sick of this shit, post some more up. Yeah. You tryna leave me, I'm low down. I ain't with savages, don't bring your whole round. I'm going bougie, I'm switching my profile. All of my cars get delivered with no mouth. They think they do and we don't, I don't know how. I do the low, call the plug, I need more pounds. I put on trip every day from the floor up. I'm getting sick of this shit, post some more up. Yeah. I'm getting sick of this shit, post some more up. I put on trip every day from the Go to lunch in the Jewish community. I won't tell on the bros for the immunity. Paying beat them, that shit ain't gon' ruin me. I'm the only one out let out do me. I got hoes by the crew tryna do me. My life like a movie, get hit in the water. Don't got put in no work, guys in order. This shit ain't got serious, the meetings come plural. I'm living by morals, we swiping and keeping no word. Explorer, I'm young and I'm turned, I got bitches galore. My baby mom will cost 250, I'm splurging. Got 5 million cash just in case it get merging. My young niggas still get away, they be virgin. It happen like this, I ain't do it on purpose. I'm working my move, nigga, who's on you working? I turned on my crew, bought a coupe off of verses. I'm tired of these strippers, I'm going that nurses and doctors and dentists. You started, I finished, I told you we with it. My word is like gold in my city, I tell them to go, they gon' get it. I heard that you froze when they hit it. Putting these hoes in the business, you know that you trippin'. I tell them no, they gon' listen. Knowing these niggas be sweet and some bitches, I'm different. She tryna leave me, I'm low down. I hang with savages, don't bring your whole round. I'm going bougie, I'm switching my profile. All of my cars get delivered with no mouth. They think they do and we don't, I don't know how. Run through the low, call the plug, I need more pounds. I put on trip every day from the floor up. I'm getting sick of this shit, post some more up. Yeah, cullin' and shouting, my driving ain't solid. I keep them on point, make sure nobody follow us. I got a Glock with a shot that can stop a truck. I get the money, ain't ways like an octopus. No way in hell, I'ma give all these choppers up. Team full of players, ain't nobody stopping us. We got a run, give a fuck, then we poppin' them. Been raising hell back in school, I was poppin' them. Yeah. All of my hoes get fake, she fake. Making my bitch too much, she lazy. I was thinking price too high and I raised. Shit in my bank account getting outraged. Niggas spend a lot, they had to switch up my phrase. And I'm sending out shots, the fouls get flamed. Switch up my route to the house, had to change. Still with this shit, I forget that I'm straight. Tryna leave me, I'm low down. I ain't with savages, don't bring your whole round. I'm going bougie, I'm switching my profile. All of my cars get delivered with no mouth. They think they do and we don't, I don't know how. I do the low, call the plug, I need more pounds. I put on trip every day from the floor up. I'm getting sick of this shit, post some more up. Yeah. You tryna leave me, I'm low down. I hang with savages, don't bring your whole round. I'm going bougie, I'm switching my profile. All of my cars get delivered with no mouth. They think they do and we don't, I don't know how. I do the